Fate on the right. Of course, no strangers to the GPL for all of you. Group
Only
stage
end up being banned out against Jinky, just targeting his champion pool. The Zerafen will be the next one. X and O's, tic-tac-toe.
Yeah, of course, because when you play against Jinky, you tend to ban out his Orianna and Zerath and just leave him a bit helpless. I think in the previous game,
his Cho'Gath.
Yeah, his Cho'Gath not really as good. I was quite surprised that they didn't give him the Lissandra because Jinky, as a control mage player, would have liked the Lissandra much more than Slay, I think. There you go, Zerath, X and O's being banned out. Rumble away from Nyx Water. Interesting that they haven't banned out his Maokai this series yet.
I mean, we have to see what they go for. Nyx Water, Hakarim, Maokai, Lissandra, Rumble. These are all champions that he has got
Yeah, he's a very
relative comfort playing. Whereas Slay, he's got a larger repertoire. We see him play Saigon as well. Hakarim is definitely in his arsenal as well. Lulu.
Yeah.
But it was Nyx Water who played Lulu the previous game. So Rek'Sai will be banned out by ASUS Fate. This is the 5.5 patch. Sejuani being banned out by Saigon Jokers. Let's see what ASUS Fate does go for. I mean, Nautilus in the jungle or Nautilus support is something that the Singaporean teams have been experimenting with a little bit. I can't review too much about the scrims, but it has been working quite well, and I think we did see it in the LCS as well. Maybe we might see that being adopted over here.
Yeah, as always, anything can happen in the bot lane. I think we've seen that been proved a couple of times in the past. Veigar support, even to a certain extent. Back then,
Arella support,
Arella support,
Maokai support.
just multiple amounts of things. Right now, has to do with the fluidity of the meta, I have to say. Now, Safety once again getting his Jarvan. In the previous game, went in a bit too deep on a couple of engages, but towards the end, when the team started getting together on the same page, and you know, when Safety called for those engages, the rest of his team followed, and that was when they started winning those fights.
I think Safety might be finding himself a little bit of a stronger 5.5. Traditionally, he does well with Lee Sin, does well with Jarvan, does well with Rek'Sai, but the moment the meta started to shift towards the tanks, he's trying to adopt those champions, and they got 2-0 because they went 0-2 against In-Series Gaming Legends. Couldn't really adopt to playing the tank junglers, and now ASUS Fate, they will be securing the tanks for themselves. They will be picking up the Maokai top lane. That's seeing what they will be selecting against the jungle.
Now, Sejuani away from Miyu might have to default to something else. Nidalee as well is open against Jarvan. Not too
They
bad.
could go for Zac.
Yeah, going for Zac. And you know, we've been talking about the tank junglers now in the meta. Zac, Gragas, as well as Sejuani, one of the stronger, or rather the triad of strong tank jungler picks now. But it's gonna be the Lissandra in the mid lane for Jinky. So swapping it up this time, giving the control mage over, or excuse me, giving the Lissandra over to the control mage player and picking the Maokai to go up in the top lane. Well, Maokai could go in the jungle as well, but traditionally we see that top lane Maokai.
Jungle Maokai is an option. We've seen some interesting pick and ban shenanigans with that. Most notably from the Colombo Hunters. Select the Maokai, make it look like it's going to the top lane, and then after that swap it into the jungle and have a very strong early gank double Maokai.
Now the issue is, due to the style of the team, ASUS Fate has to pick up the mid laner very early, and normally on purple side you want to leave the last pick to counter pick. So now they've telegraphed the matchup for mid lane as well as top lane, you know, seemingly. And it's up to SAJ to get a good matchup for themselves. So something like Ahri or LeBlanc, you know, you want to pick something that can go up against Lissandra. And we saw Jace previously for Levida, not too bad for him in the lane. Maybe he might reprise that role as well.
Lulu in the mid lane does pretty decently against Lissandra as well. Looks like Saigon Joker's team will be responding with the Zac of their own. So very interesting here. So Safety will be playing a tank jungler, and looks like it's going to be a top lane Jarvan.
No, it could very well be the
mid lane
Jarvan
is possible as well.
It could very well be the mid lane Jarvan, but right now I'm a bit stumped because
Maokai has been selected by Slay.
Not just that, the pick and ban phase from SAJ the past 2 weeks has been rather, I want to say, shifty, not as impressive, but now they've come to the table with something more fluid, a bit more flexibility, and a couple more flex picks that allow the team to be a bit more, I want to say, mobile and deal with a lot more situations.
I mean, I think over here, just go for the Leona Graves. Will be a fantastic pickup for ASUS Fate. Just get the burst damage in, play the fights well.
Yeah.
And get the AoE damage onto your opponents, because Lulu Wildgrove, there's only one target, but if you got the AoE damage down, whatever Saigon Jokers has to pick up after that. You need some damage threats, and those will then be a little bit more squishy. Kaylin over here, finding it's a little bit questionable. What do you think about it? Because Safety will still be able to engage onto her because of the sheer range of the elastic slingshot.
Well, the thing is, ASUS Fate, the style of team play in the previous game at least was that they put a lot of gold onto Lista and had him carry majority of the mid-game damage, and if they do that on Caitlyn, it's going to be rather well fort as well, because Caitlyn scales pretty well with gold. For one thing, you get Infinity Edge, you hit that static shift, and you start pushing really quickly. Of course, SAJ can respond to that with the hard engage from Zac, but if they do get Listener rolling on Caitlyn, it should be rather easy for them to secure multiple turrets.
Looks like they will be picking up
The
the
Juggernaut.
Maokai. It's going to be a Juggernaut, lots of disengage. They have the Lu, they have the Nami and some tanks in the front. But once again, it's just saturating so much of the single damage source. They have got to get Suo again. And
so it will be the mid lane Lulu and top lane Jarvan if they lock in these last two picks. Of course, the Juggernaut, we were kind of theory crafting about it and saying how as a composition it's really easy to execute. But if you want to deal with it, it's rather hard because you have to know how to get around the composition, who to target, and how to stifle the growth of the Kog'Maw as well as his support crew, as we like to call it.
so in this case, Nami against Trash, they have a decent support matchup, but Caitlyn is just a lane bully throughout. We have to see what ASUS Fate will be able to do in the bottom lane. They have some decent engage to go in for the Kog'Maw. They could burst down the Lulu as well.
I think
Really
they go
decent
for the
options all around.
I think they go for the Nidalee here to help complement the Siege composition. In addition, if you can poke members of Saigon Jokers really hard before they start the fight, well, Juggernaut isn't so strong when a couple of members are at half health.
I would have to agree with you. Nidalee would be rather interesting to come in here. But going for Siege composition against Zac as well as Jarvan, rather risky to be playing. But that will be interesting because if you have a Siege composition, you're going to be forcing the issue against Saigon Jokers really early, and that will mean that they don't have the time to hit the scaling on the Kog'Maw as well as the Zac.
Yeah, and you know, Nidalee, Caitlyn, old school Siege composition for one. Going for the Vi, very ballsy move to take a hard engaged champion into a team composition that wants to protect the Juggernaut. Honestly, rather strange, but
Well, goes for the Lee Sin instead. This is rather interesting. I mean, I kind of like the Vi at first. It's a little bit risky, but looks like they decided to go with Lee Sin instead. So that's going to be providing them a little bit more buffer, a little bit more utility. They have pretty decent cash composition, some good engage coming in from the Trash, lockdown with Jinky as the Syndra, and the disengage coming in from the Lee Sin as well.
it's a top lane Zac here coming in for Nyx Water. As we said, the man has a huge champion pool, and once again showing it off with this top lane Zac, something we saw in the past but not too much nowadays. Of course, fading off into obscurity, given some very heavy nerfs I want to mention. Now Miyu, I think he picked up the Lee Sin because of the fact that Dragon's Rage can be used to disengage the Zac coming in. If you get it at a correct angle, you can actually kick Zac out of the elastic slingshot, and that buys a lot of time for your team to lock down the Juggernaut and actually start sieging or just back off with the box to cover your retreat. So maybe the reasoning for that pickup could be that. In addition, could very well be the fact that they want the early pressure to stifle the Kog'Maw growth, because if you can get early ganks down, stop all the lanes from farming safely, you know, they have to play back a bit more, and it buys a lot of time for your team to start pushing. A tank Zac, a non-tanky Zac isn't that scary when he jumps into your team.
Special weapon Zac is special weapon indeed. Chapman that we haven't really seen in GPL just yet being put out for the first time, and with the appropriate skin as well. 10 out of 10 skins. Good job, guys. Gotta spend that RP. Jurassic Kog'Maw. It's gonna be the 80 carry.
To be fair, it is the tournament realm, so I believe they get like a free amount of RP to just do whatever they want with, and sort of pimp out their accounts with cool skins and stuff.
So here we are at the Summoner's Rift. On the blue side, this is the Saigon Jokers. And moving over to the red side, still playing for the pride in the GPL, this is ASUS Fate.
Yeah, it looks like a very good composition coming through for ASUS Fate here. They want to pull an upset onto SAJ, get the 1-1, and allow Insidious Gaming Legends to play that tiebreaker.
Now this is going to be a simple guard 5 all around the map, and ASUS Fate, they will be looking to pick up the level 2 for the Maokai early on. Now the question is, did they go for a lane swap of any kind over here? And I just have to kind of wonder, if they prepared Zac as a counter to Maokai, would ASUS Fate be thinking of going for a lane swap?
Maokai actually has a decent laning phase against Zac because you have to spam your unstable matter as Zac to kind of get damage down, and that allows the Maokai to heal up. But in a lane swap scenario, both these top laners are actually really good at double jungling together with their respective junglers, and we could see that as an option, where versus like a 2-0 kind of lane, where the AD carry is forced to shove up and then you can teleport there and get the EXP. So double jungle is an option for both these top laners, but it looks like standard lanes will not be happening as the recall comes in from Yushin. So this night Akio heading up to the top side. The sneaky Razor Beak Level 1 tick for Slay here.
There's going to be war over the SAJ. They're definitely going to be thinking about going in and disrupting the saplings over there. But the question is, how dangerous is it going to be? The rest of ASUS Fate even hanging around there. It looks like they will indeed be going for a lane thrust.
Yeah, so Safety starting on his red buff and Miyu starting on his red buff as well. Both laners both junglers, excuse me, kind of imitating each other despite knowing it. Next order will be up in that 2v2. They did not get the freeze down. Listener in the keyhole. Bit of a misplay there, flaying it away from the Peacemaker. But ultimately they will get that Krug. Experience going over heavily to Listener. The wave not really pushing out that much.
But nonetheless, it's going to be the freeze. Next order did pick up a few minions for himself. So, in fact, he didn't get any. He missed both of those CS. Oh, next order. Spink to safety over there.
He was really afraid of the lane swap scenario, hence had to play back now in the jungle. Miyu as well as Slay going in to take the wolves away from Nixwater, who I think is going to join his team and provide a bit of assistance. He has not skilled up anything yet in the mid lane. He can take the elastic slingshot.
Oh, he sees Jinky. He goes in there, gets the slowdown. Helpix comes through, Glitters does not connect. And Bruce passes the lane and says, yo, what up people? Walks back into the bottom lane. So now, Saigon Jokers, they're really consolidating the bottom side of the map. And they're really starting on Dragon.
I'm quite curious why they picked up the top lane Zac, because the point of playing Zac nowadays is the fact that Cinderhawk scales with health, and Zac builds really well with health, but instead putting him in the top lane kind of denies the whole purpose of it. You don't have Cinderhawk on the top lane Zac, and mid lane Jinky getting taken very low, almost goes down there, has the flash, first blood goes over to Lovita. Dragon in response as well for ASUS, for SAJ, so that's a big lead that they've started off with.
Lulu getting a solo kill in the middle lane. It's not something that we usually see, but Lovita pulls it off. He gets it. So good job, Lovita. But here comes the response as well. 3 people in the mid lane. So there we go, exhaust onto Lovita. Here comes the top lane as well. Teleport comes in, but the death sentence is good onto Lovita, and that's gonna be the kill given over to Miyu.
Miyu picks up the kill, and now all even. Both teams 1 kill apiece. Goes still in favor of ASUS Fate from all that action though.
There might be a skirmish in the jungle over here. Stop looking at the AD carry. Oh.
No, they're just setting up.
This back.
They were setting up camp safety, did manage to get the blue buff away, and they were hoping for Miyu to walk to the jungle and face check, but instead, knowing wiser than that, Lee Sin decides to smite away that Wolf Spirit and make sure everything's all safe now. Next water, Yushin and safety, very smart here, knowing to set up camp. They want the wave. It was frozen very well by Su, and it's going to be pushing out Miyu, and Slay will be heading down to the bot lane in just a bit.
Some pings going off onto Lee Sin and Maokai.
Yeah, I'm curious how they could see him. I think there's a ward across that wall that spotted Lee Sin walking down. Hence they were prepping that dive, but knowing there was 2 members, they decided to back off.
The smart decisions coming in. So they spotted Miyu as well as Slay, and they just decided, okay, let's maybe not go for this one. But you have to think about it. I mean, Kongmo on this lane sub scenario is definitely going to be coming a slightly hit because he doesn't have to deal with Caitlyn in the lane. But here's the thing. Slay as the Maokai has been able to pick up so much more experience and farm as compared to Nick's Water Zhang.
Yeah. Level 3 to level 2. Teleport as well available for Slay. Nick's Water had to load that very early on to kind of scare them off the fight.
Sapling. Here we go. Gets the cannon in.
Uses the elastic slingshot as well to kind of thin out the wave and reset it.
Oh, they run into Miyu over here. The damage comes through. This is going to be another kill. Oh, Miyu, is he going to be able to make it? The grip escape comes through. He flashes for it. Damage coming down to safety. He's just juking back and forth. Oh, he's trying to bait him in safety. Unable to go for this one. But now Kaelin, there's 4 members onto the listener. He needs backup, and he needs backup fast. The jungler already too low. Akiho. The trash comes around from the side. Beautiful Peacemaker comes through. Safety only level 3 right now. The jungle is just so far behind.
And they manage to force everyone from SAJ off in the mid lane. Jinky gets so much time alone. With the Caitlyn, the extended range, it's really hard to dive a Caitlyn together with the Thresh because they can kite you and deal a lot of damage before you even arrive to them. Of course, great play by Miyu there to get away, and a flash for flash being blown by Miyu and safety respectively.
What about Listener is how he's just conscientiously placing his traps down. The moment that it's off cooldown, he's just putting it on, because in lanes up, you don't have to think about mana management or resource management, because you don't have to be spamming the pure of a Peacemaker. So whenever the cooldown is available, just put a trap down and make it difficult for your opponents to approach your lane.
It also allows you to zone them off. If they decide to step on a trap to deactivate it, you can put some damage onto them to punish their hubris.
I mean, ASUS Fate, this is where they shine. The early game strategies, the early game shenanigans, it's always been really strong, and we see that being reflected.
Yeah.
Slay, level 5, Mixed Water, level 3, 19 CS to 6.
I mean, we were talking about this the previous game. The strength of ASUS Fate has always been their strong lane swapping and how they can get their own top laner ahead compared to the enemy top laner. And this is just showing their strength, be it Slay or Lolita or Shady. They always find some way to get ahead in their top lane.
Recall will be coming in from Caitlyn. ASUS Fate, they're going to be swapping back. This is rather interesting. There's no dragon available for themselves. There's going to be the BF Sword.
Yeah, they will not be swapping back as we see Listener walking back to the top. So once again, ASUS Fate doing this, put all our eggs in one basket, and that basket is Caitlyn at this point in time. As we do see her just walking alone, and I believe at some point in the future, let's check 2 minutes from now, the goal count on Listener will be marginally higher than Sue.
I mean, I like the way you mentioned all eggs in one basket. Just Saigon Jokers, I mean, the irony here is that you would expect them to be the one going all into the crop war. Because he's the only damage source.
Indeed. Yushin just clearing out a ward. Miaoyu in the jungle has the support of a keyhole behind him.
So Listener goes back to base, is able to pick up the beer sword for herself, and then is going to be able to allow her to control this wave so well. In fact, misses the cannonman over there. Unfortunate mistake.
This is another one there. Perfect CS, not really on point today.
Let's not nitpick over here, but let's just talk about the BF Sword and what does it mean for this lane.
So it basically means that they can trade much better, and when they do create a big wave, when they shove up, they can get a lot of good damage down to the turret. Of course, Zac and Nami have no good wave clear without exposing themselves as compared to the Maokai. It's really paying off dividends as the CS is double in favor of Slay here.
You share next water, trying to prep for an engagement onto the AD carry. But Akio's in the brush. And you can actually flame out the elastic slingshot. So that's a really neat micro trick that you can use against Zac.
Yeah. Only with the Ruby Crystal is Mixed Water not really too tanky at any point in time. As I mentioned before, non-tanky Zac not very scary at all. Without any armor, it's rather easy to put a lot of damage onto him.
Caitlyn just chunking the Zac down. Where's the ult for that? 650 range. Longest range in the game.
Really making use of that very well is Listener here in the top lane. He's making it very hard for Mixed Water to get any CS. He has to fight for it with his own health if he wants to even get some gold, and that's what you have to do in a lane swap. You put the enemy top lane in a very uncomfortable position at all times.
I liked what the Caitlyn's doing over here. He's purposefully just stalling out the wave so that it's going to be hitting a large wave when it finally hits the turret, and then it's going to be super difficult for Mixed Water to pick up the CS.
And I think it's something we see across most teams is when you build up that large creep wave, that's when you call your jungler, your mid laner, your support, 4-man party, dive the enemy top laner, make sure he doesn't get any of those any of the creeps and EXP, and try to kill him.
Call the top lane in America, because it's sure going to be a party in the USA when that happens.
Lovita gets the blue buff, and so does Jinky, and I think CS across the board is pretty even, except in the top and AD carry roles for ASUS Fate, owing to their great lane swap that they have enacted. Which is curious considering we're talking about how Caitlyn, Thresh going up against Kog'Maw Nami has the stronger matchup, but they forsake that in order to get a very good matchup for themselves in isolated 1v1.
Sapling is thrown down ASUS Fate. They know Saigon Jokers. He has to decide on Dragon over here. In fact, Caitlyn actually coming out slightly simply being able to control the wave better with the BF Sword. Oh, but meanwhile, fight in the mid lane. Safety gonna be taken down low. Is the ignite gonna be enough? Jinky barely surviving out of that one. Lovita with the help, but here comes Slay as well. And once again, the ganks in the mid lane are gonna be setting Lovita further and further ahead.
Yeah, Jinky falling behind as well. Safety getting away very barely, but a lot of damage down to the turret. Safety has to recall now, and that's the window that ASUS Fate was looking for to take the dragon. Of course, Miaoyu is behind, and Slay is in the bottom side of the map as well. Uses the Sonic Wave Resonating Strike to get into the pit without getting spotted out. Very great micro there from Miaoyu.
Oh, but he's going to be picking up the dragon aggro. Nope, he's unable to get the dragon to his beating and do some damage to the Nami. Look at the CS difference between Slay and Mixed Water. It's kind of stagnated a little bit. Slay is kind of stabilized about 20 CS above. And I would say that that's looking well for next water.
Yeah, Su has to be very careful. Miyu rounding across the tri-brush here. 2v2, I have to think that Lee Sin and Maokai definitely has the kill pressure as compared to Kog'Maw and Nami. Not to mention Kog'Maw at this point, slightly behind 400 gold already, and that was the 2-minute mark we were talking about. In the lane swap scenario, ASUS Fate gives up early dragons, but they get the early gold lead onto their AD carry, hoping for him to carry the mid-game damage.
And we see a very greedy build coming from Listener as well, going for the average blade as well. This is going to give her a little bit of critical strike damage, but here's the important thing. It's going to be giving her a bonus 2 gold for every minion she picks up, as well as income passive regeneration.
Yeah.
So the Caitlyn will be scaling a lot faster than Kog'Maw in terms of gold-wise.
The curious thing is that Caitlyn is going to get a lot of gold, but Su, with levels and items, is going to be scaling up pretty well as compared to Caitlyn. So it's going to be a battle of who can enact the composition better, because both of them are running on a timer. Of course, artificially pushing it forward is ASUS Fate, whereas SAJ just playing a natural game, let the Kog'Maw farm and hit his power point.
Oh, this might be a catch over here. The Death Sentence comes out, it finds the fish, gone fishing, and Miyu, they see Logita. They have to back out of that one. The bubble does fall. Lissandra threatens to engage, and they have to back away. Zach will be joining this fight, and I think Saigon Jokers, this should be an easy dragon for the first. ASUS Fate, they should have any business contesting this one, given that Caitlyn is to the top.
Should be turret for ASUS Fate as well. There you go, getting the one dragon for a turret. Engage on by Nyx Warden, not really connecting with anyone in particular. 1,600 gold lead for ASUS Fate here.
It kind of feels that this timing is kind of standard when you want to be pushing down the first turret, because if you do get perfect CS, if you get this hard down at the 7 minutes, you usually are able to complete the first major item, be it the Ring King or Infinity Edge. So if you go for Twitch and the lane swap scenario, this is the period of time you sack 2 dragons, and then you take the turret, go back base, get the Blood Ring King, and then start farming champion. But this time it's a Caitlyn, so I feel rather interesting that they would go for such a similar timing.
She is walking down to the mid side, not bot yet.
So it's just going to be a fast push strategy coming from ASUS Fate, rather interesting. Up against the Lulu, doesn't really have the best wave here out there. They could put some damage down to this target.
I mean, the term fast is pretty relative. What they are doing is just grouping up and shoving waves as hard as possible, not allowing SAJ to have free time to farm, especially this Kog'Maw and Zac that needs a bit more gold to become more efficient in terms of team fighting.
Slay doing a fantastic job in the lane swap over here, being able to pick up so much experience and farm for himself despite being in a 1v2 situation or having to face a high level opponent for such a long period of time. Really impressive play from the Maokai.
Yeah, and they did swap back the moment Nyx Warden started buying armor. That allows Jinky to kind of deal with him in a very effective manner because no magic resistance on Nyx Warden. As you can see, 54 apart from his runes and mastery, so it's gonna be very favorable for this Lissandra in this matchup. Can constantly shove the waves out and manipulate that to ASUS Fate's liking.
This is rather interesting. They're just rotating the champions around and sending the Caitlyn to the lane that they want to push. So now focus for ASUS Fate is going to be in the middle lane.
As long as the waves are pushed up, ASUS Fate will have the upper hand, of course.
We have to see if the roam from Lissandra will be able to make anything happen, but we're going to need to wait for the major group of the Caitlyn, Lee Sin, and Trashfest.
Yeah, they do spot safety out, trying to gank Jinky, and bot side is open. No resources being put there by SAJ. The response should be good from ASUS Fate here. They're gonna give the blue buff over to Listener so he can use the Peacemaker more often to fast push. It's a very interesting strategy that ASUS Fate has adopted, and it's not something we've seen a lot this split.
I have to say they have got a nice goal lead out of it. They're trading turrets. Showed a turret for Dragon so far. Ward spots on safety. I like the ward being placed over there. He's going to be spotting out the flanks, and safety's going to be looping around straight away. ASUS Fate, they back away from that one.
They do clear out that ward though.
All I have to say is that Miyu should just be grouping them with this 2 men in the middle. But there we go, they go in on to see, will they be able to get the kick goes away, and ASUS Fate, they really wanting to disengage away from this one. Here comes Nyx Warden complete, just misses it over there, but here comes the ultimate as well. Safety joins the party, and now Slay is going to be the next focus flashes under the turret. The turret damage does some damage as well, but this is going to be traded for the mid lane.
Yeah, turret and a kill for a kill, for a turret from mid lane though. Listener does finish that off. I have to say, in this situation, the advantage definitely goes over to SAJ because they still have the minion wave with them, and that allows them to force a rotation out of ASUS Fate to defend this. If not, it's going to go down to Sue and company as well.
Listener, in fact, being chunked down low by Lovita over there. Oh, Saigon Jokers, they pick up 2 turrets. Very well played with the rotations.
Yeah, Jinky in the top as well is still pushing, but he has no minions to back that up. SAJ with the map movement coming out ahead. 4 members collapsing was the right course of action in that scenario.
Now we see actually Bummy Singer being picked up. Oh, they might catch him out. Death Sentence does land, and that's gonna be a date. Jarvan, Myoyu, oh, saved by Lovita. Looks like I didn't just get it just yet. Is he able to get a few more auto attacks? Myoyu comes in, 1 more, 2 more, and now the focus is onto Lovita. Gets the play, the box comes down as well. Death Sentence doesn't connect, and now Akil has to hightail it out of this one.
Yeah, very good play by Lovita that he was able to stall out the kill, as we see Jinky just converging onto the dead remnants of Nyx Water.
Now when you are 60 farm ahead, you have the Morelos available to yourself. Zach's just gonna have a bad time in the lane.
Yeah, you kind of just mitigate all the healing that he has, and since he has 0 MR, you can more or less just pull him out.
And the Caitlyn is still in the mid lane, so this is rather interesting. I thought that they will send the Caitlyn back into the bottom lane. Infinity has just completed already. I do believe that every split will be becoming a static shift very quickly, so that they can complete. Oh, there we go. Tons of gold going on to Caitlyn.
Yeah, 600 gold ahead of her counterpart, and I think that gold can be found on the rest of the members of SAJ. That's where the lead lies. So a lot of resources, as we mentioned, being put onto Caitlyn. But the issue is, as you mentioned, you put her in the mid lane, there's nothing else to take. It's rather dangerous to keep a mid lane, keep Caitlyn in the mid lane, considering they have the Zac and you haven't warded the surrounding areas well enough. They could very well collapse on her and force a summoner spell too. Of course, Elastic Slingshot into Flag and Drag could very well be the death of her.
I mean, the way they're just playing, they're just allocating so much farm onto Listener. They're just accelerating her late game really, really quickly. They're going to be looking for the static shift. They're just going to be looking for those tons of damage coming in from the crews from Listener. I believe they kite back and forth as well.
Yeah, it's not like they sacrifice the other members of ASUS Fate, because Slay as well as Jinky are able to find kills and farm across the map. So it's more of just giving a lot more to Listener rather than taking away. To overextend here.
He goes in and Slay appears. Myoyu is just there to ward him away from getting too much damage down to Slay's Maokai.
All this time it's buying space for Listener to farm, and SAJ has to make a play soon because Triforce is up on Kog'Maw.
X-Dragon is up. Akiho will he be going out of that one? Dies a little bit too quickly. As Jinky could have been there to his rescue. Saigon Jokers is very, very deep jungle camp. They do pick up the support.
Yeah, they need the 3rd dragon, SAJ. The extra movement speed will allow the Juggernaut to kind of kite around fights much better and force these engages against the Caitlyn, because as we all know, when you get close against the Caitlyn, if she can't open up the distance once more, she becomes very vulnerable.
Oh, is Mary gonna be able to get the steal? Doesn't even try for it. In fact, safely. This is smart over there.
It will be Sue that picks it up, and Jinky just finds Lovita here.
So much damage coming through. It is gonna be the Wild Growth trader for the Frozen Tome. Isn't it listeners they hanging around the mid lane? I mean, I just have to wonder if the Caitlyn started rotating bottom, put pressure on the Dragon, put pressure on the bot lane, Auto Tower, it would have made lots of sense. But oh, now here he is in the mid lane. He's just gonna get eaten up by the Cataclysm. All the ultimates being thrown at him. Akil in as well. Safety gonna get bursted down. It is the bait, and you have outsmarted Saigon Jokers.
Yeah, this was the scenario we were talking about. You put the Caitlyn in the mid lane, very susceptible to getting jumped, but if you have good vision around the area, you can kind of set up a counter gang, and that was what ASUS Fate did perfectly. They were able to get the drop onto SAJ, who overcommitted. Look at the composition. Zac as well as Jarvan. Once they get in, there's no way for them to get out, and you can just collapse onto all of that. Jinky sitting off the side, wants to find Nyx Water here.
Just scaring them with the Frozen Claw over there. Just way too telegraph Saigon Jokers. They will be falling for that, but the siege is coming down. The wave here isn't just on point for Saigon Jokers just yet. Inside ASUS Fate, that's going to be another turret, mid lane tier 2 for themselves, and in the bottom as well. Myoyu is going to be picking up the turret as well.
Yeah, Myoyu in the bot. Lee Sin himself going to pick that up despite having no vision in a literal sense.
I mean, I like this timing coming from ASUS Fate. Don't show me the items that they will be picking up. So there we go, static shift.
Yeah, the static shift just accelerates their push even quicker. Normally it's the outer ring of inner turrets that you want to be careful of, but they've taken down the mid inner turret, and that's where the game kind of gets scary for SAJ, because they can start getting deep into the jungle, rotate around, pushing very quickly, and if anyone from SAJ gets out of position, ASUS Fate can get the drop on them with the Twisted Advance, with the Claw of Doom and the Frozen Tomb. As long as Listener stays out of sight, he's gonna be fine just dealing damage from the backline.
There we go, Mixed Water. We'll be trying to clear it in the top lane here. Finally has some semblance of magic resistance.
Yeah.
He appears, and that's the end of this push.
Staying off the side is Levita, though he will be spotted out by Miu. Or well, the other way around. Levita will spot out Miu.
Hiding in the brush. Effective strategy.
Something.
Uh-oh, Jinky, he's gonna get caught over here. He gets the snare down. Is he able to get it? Just gets it out in time right before it expires. Levita will be looking for the proxy guns, but is unable to find it.
Yeah, hiding in the brush. One of the strongest strategies available to us in League of
Usually
Legends.
comes around from the other side. Is he able to get this? He does cancel it out. Gets the ultimate onto himself. That's going to be buying him sometimes. Zorias as well. Here comes Miu. Kick Yushin back into the turret. Gets one less. Root down. How many kills is Miu going to get? Oh, he's going to get focused down as well. Is he able to get it? Gets the first kill. Next world shoot up by Levita. It's going to be a 2-for-1.
Yeah,
but down there in the bottom, the rotations.
Yeah, immediately Listener rotating over to the bottom side, knowing that 3 members from SAJ have committed to that one turret, and now with Slay to back him up, they can very well just get this turret without any disturbance. Akiho is coming off the side. He did take a lot of damage from Su as well as safety there.
It's the Zac coming in, but this Zac is just so underfarmed, they don't even bother about him. In fact, oh, Slay goes in front. They could have killed him there, I believe.
Yeah, but they didn't know whether other members of SAJ were. Su as well as safety were kind of off screen.
They're going to go in for this one. They're going to be trying to kill him. Now, Nyx Water, but here comes the backup from the Lulu as well. Akio is there. Oh, Nyx Water just having so little health right now. Turns it around. Safety from the backline. ASUS in a whole bunch of trouble. They lock it down onto Kongmo, but now Akio is going to get locked up by the bubbles too. Picks up the kill for himself, and that is going to be the Maokai falling in the bottom lane.
Yeah, the balance of the game shifted heavily in favor of SAJ now. Dragon's going to be up in about 2 minutes. At this point, so far ahead is this Kongmo. He has the build to order Cutlass as well as that one Triforce. Once he built Blade of the Rain King, Slay has no response to that. He has not built any armor at all, and Kongmo is just going to be shredding multiple members of ASUS Fate with his auto attacks down. Of course, Jinky with the Zoni's Hourglass will have some reprieve, but not before getting taken down soon.
I mean, as much as ASUS Fate has been putting focus onto its objectives and turrets, they're only one turret up against Saigon Jokers, because every time Saigon Jokers, they're winning these fights, they're taking the dragons, and then after they just simply take the turrets after.
The turrets are what will win you the game though. 5-4, ASUS Fate still very far ahead. SF5 need to catch up. So tries to jump onto Jinky but gets denied. Uses the Let's Bounce to buy some time for Levita to come up and give him some assistance. The slows are good.
He tries to run away, dodges at the clear lens. Will he be able to make this one? Does drop the ultimate to himself, but there's just no support, and that's going to be another kill for the Saigon Jokers.
Yeah, I feel like he should have kept that for the next team fight when he respawn, just because they can start contesting Baron now. If SAJ decides to start it, Kongmo is going to shred down the Baron really quickly. Off the flank though, here comes Levita and company.
SAJ just so fast with these ganks that they grab the lantern out to safety. ASUS Fate, they're on the run right now. It looks so strong in the early game, but in this mid game, they just look a little bit out of place, staying a little bit overextended for wards in their open lanes and just getting caught out.
We sort of neglected how quickly Levita snowballed as well, 7-1 and 3, and a fat Lulu is one thing, but a fat Lulu with a Juggermaw is another.
It's almost giving the Kog'Maw more power, because the more AP Lulu gets, with the help hits on the Kog'Maw, he's going to be getting a lot of bonus damage.
He'll be dealing true damage, physical as well as magic damage with each auto attack. And now Blade of the Rain King completed. I think ASUS Fate have to be quite worried now, as well as the Baron being started up by SAJ.
Just look at the combo strap away, and he's doing so much damage to this Baron right now.
Slightly under 3,000 health now as the Baron. ASUS Fate have no idea. They in fact walk over to Dragon thinking that SAJ are starting up camp. They will get a consolation prize in the form of the Dragon, the first one off the game for them, I believe.
They do see it once again. Jinky gets caught out. He just got the lantern to safety. The snipe all the way from Su. The one last auto attack that's coming. Is Slay gonna go in for this one? They're also rather low, and here comes the engagement. They do roll down safety right away. Next one, the next one to fall. But Su in the backline is just so much damage showing the combo right now. He's doing out Listener at the moment. The help picks. He's helping him do so much more damage. And Levita is still alive. He tries to get one. He does get Jinky in the end. But ASUS Fate, they do win the fight. Miyu does get a snipe as well.
Yeah, ASUS Fate coming out ahead this fight there. I feel like it was a very poor fight coming in from SAJ. Su was not able to kite around in the box by a
Listener, what are you doing? You shouldn't even be there. Just do the dragon.
Yeah, Kiho used the box to disengage, and there was perfect positioning coming in for that ultimate. Su, if he can't get into the fight, he can't deal any damage, and the big issue as well is that Mixwater is not tanky enough to soak damage while Su is dealing damage, so they can focus him down and move on after that, waiting for the cooldowns to come out.
So all the focus being put into shutting on Mixwater, kind of working Ace's face for it, but here's the thing. The Kongma is Myoyo! He's Myoyo, but they do catch on to Stu. Is the flame gonna be coming around? Listener, the damage on the Stu is good. Jinky misses! Jinky misses the Ring of Frost. But is he able to get the flash or any further engagement? Listener flashes forward. It's going on to Lulu. Here comes Jinky as well. Ring of Frost still not coming in as well. The ultimate comes in. Stu is the one who's locked up. Oh, Akio misses the hook, but they do get the kill onto the Kongma in the end.
Yeah, the Static Shield prop did finish him off, and Mixwater coming a bit too late from the back now. Safety wants to join in, they find Slay. Yushin will speed him up just to get away. Let's Bounce was used as well to disengage, and Safety wants to go in for round 2. I highly advise against this Slay as well as Lisna are going in.
The bubble does miss, but Tidal Wave is available, so Ace's Fate, they wouldn't have too much success in getting this.
Yeah, and just Jinky low on health, still goes up to the top lane to get some CS, and look at the goal, my goodness, 1,600, excuse me, 600 gold ahead still is Listener. I can't do math, guys, I'm sorry. Jinky not really having the time of his life up against this very fat Lulu.
I mean, this small time, you shouldn't apologize for doing the numbers from. You gotta call the guy onto his chat. Hey, quickly, bring out your calculator and tell me what the real numbers are. We know you're out there.
J-Storm once again having the solutions to life's biggest problem.
Twitch chat, man. Twitch chat does match. Twitch chat does math.
It's like Twitch plays Pokemon, but only more calculation involved.
Oh man, that's a completely different ballgame. I mean, Twitch chat does Pokemon in the counting game. That's like you each take this input numbers, and then after chaos just breaks loose.
Extra BF sword now to Su's name. And Void Staff and Sheen for Levita. This is getting really out of hand for ASUS. Fate now SAJ really far ahead. And with level 15 on that Kog'Maw, he's going to be doing just fine in these team fights. Slay has not built any armor yet to deal with this shredding Void monster. The Siege has stopped dead in its tracks from ASUS Fate. What seemed to be a very impressive early game strategy, not really working out after a failed team fight at the bottom. I think ASUS Fate pushed their luck a bit too hard and it pushed back against them.
But in all fairness, when it comes to scaling, I wouldn't say they're getting outskilled by the Kong'Maw too hard. They do have... with the top lane, Jinky gets the Ignite onto the next war. He should be going in for this one. He dodges out one bounce of it, but here we go. It is going to be the last bounce. Ring of Frost comes through. Is Jinky able to get this one out? Here we go. Zonya's one last thing comes through, but Nixwater is able to pick up the kill, and Slay goes in, gets the slowdown, but Nixwater is going to be escaping into the mid lane. We might see a fight breakout, and Listener escapes away from that one. Fantastic support coming in from the Lee Sin as well as the Trash. Yushin immediately falls, and here comes Levita from the sidelines. Listener doing whatever he can, but he's going to be bursted down by the AD carry and middle laner. And the only member left from ASUS Fate is Slay. He tries to follow the defense, but he's going to be falling in the end. Saigon Jokers win the fight very convincing.
Everyone from ASUS Fate melting so quickly, no armor at all, just means that Su is just going to rip through your health bar. And for 1 and 5, he's hit that point where no one can deal with him just in a team fight. You can't lock him down, even exhaust won't slow him down. And Jinky went down in the top lane. Frozen Tomb is what you need to lock down this Kog'Maw, but without that available, it's very simple for SAJ to just rip through your front line.
They're strapping to go for Su over there. ASUS Fate, they just surrendered the inhibitor over to. Once again, ASUS Fate having just crumbling at this big team fights where they have the Lysandra at the different side of the map, and not very successfully fighting the fights that they want.
Look at the timers on the top left of your screen. Baron as well as Dragon will be up around the same time. I think this is where SAJ has to make a decision. Which one do we want to go for first and go for second? Because I highly value the Dragon. 4th Dragon will mean that the 5th Dragon has to be contested by ASUS Fate. But at the same time, Baron will be more useful for them if they want to push and end the game. Something tricky they could do is send 2 members to do the Baron, mainly Nixwater as well as Su, and then have the rest of the team appear around Dragon and kind of fool ASUS Fate into a false sense of security.
I mean, that's possible as well, but those kind of sneaky Barons, 31 minutes into the game. I have to say, I think it's still doable, but when you reach about the 35, 36 minute mark, the more people are missing from the map, the moment you're not grouped as 5, and there's no reason for you to be taking buffs or pushing a side lane, immediately alarm bells will go off and people will start around.
Next order starting to get very tanky.
You're threatening the engage from the side. I like his positioning on the Lee Sin, but the Maokai just nowhere near at all. Slay, not even in this.
Next order making his presence felt in the jungle. Constantly casting the elastic slingshot though. Call of Doom, only just a threat at this point in time, and there goes the second middle turret of the game for SAJ.
So push has to start on the top lane now, so that's going to be working slightly in their favor. They know that they deal with the CC at the bottom lane, but Maokai finding the chance to do.
Yeah, this combo is huge at this point in time, and Listener has to be careful when he takes those living artilleries. Auto attacks as well, going to chunk them out for quite a bit. Once again, still no armor being completed on the side of ASUS Fate.
This is rather interesting. Jarvan is going to completely armor itemizing. And Saigon is just starting up the Baron.
I think that's because safety recognized majority of the goal was on Listener. So if you itemize armor, it allows you to get into the back line and duel her out in the Cataclysm. ASUS Fate will
rush it up, and that is going to be the Baron going over the Saigon Joker's 2-man bubble coming in safety. Gets the Cataclysm on all 5 people, but the disengage is good. Next one messing up on that one, using last one's knocking people out of that one. He in fact saves their life, and Saigon Jokers, they're just melting like flies right now. They cash all 5, they get Sue as well. They got the Baron, but in the end, it's ASUS Fate who come up huge, and it's going to be the ace.
It's a clean ace for him despite getting the Baron. SAJ don't know what went wrong there in that fight. Even though it was a 5-man Cataclysm, the counter engage from Slay and Jinky just too strong, and Listener left totally unchecked in the backline. Shredded everyone's armor. I think it was Sue who overextended way too much, got caught out by the hook and the exhaust. And once again, we're talking about the positioning of this newly established AD carry. Well, in these fights on positionally intensive AD carries,
they're not going to go for it. They're just going to pick up the inhibitor. Oh, bang wall.
Yeah.
This is going to be the dragon, however, for ASUS Fate.
These fights, Sue has to be better positioned to deal out maximum amounts of damage. In his Kalista game, not as impressive, and neither is his Kog'Maw game, just faltering in terms of positioning.
ASUS Fate, they don't go for the greedy play. They just turn around, they pick up whatever objectives, steals the Ray buff as well. Now they're going to be hitting back to the base, picking whatever items that they can. And here we go. Bring me through this fight.
Yeah, take a look at this. A great 5-man Cataclysm locks everyone up, but look at this at the back. Listener totally left unchecked, and it was a great engage by Jinky. The counter engage, in fact, to deal a lot of damage. Just within 650 range, no one could threaten Listener at all, and it was very simple for them to clean up the fight. So once again, we call him out for his positioning in that replay. Really evident how simply he got caught out.
But he has his Quicksilver Sash now, so that's definitely going to be working in his favor. Oh, Miaoyu walks right into that one. It's going to be the face check. He has the length of the save himself, and up against. Oh, but here comes the Zac as well. So many things happening at the same time. And the Kog'Maw, he's not in the fight. That's the major damage shred. You're fighting without the Kog'Maw. You play a jungle composition, and there's no Kog'Maw. Next water, he's going to be falling. There's one member down.
Oh, look at this. Miaoyu still wants more. Lovida, the resonating strike may be coming in, but Miaoyu decides better against it. And a bit curious what SAJ decided to do there. They found Miaoyu out in the jungle, but a Juggernaut composition without Kog'Maw is questionable at best.
I mean, you're playing to protect the Kog'Maw composition. You're playing with a Kog'Maw. That's blasphemous. Inhibitors respawn, and suddenly ASUS Fate, they have such a strong grip of the game.
Yeah, they are only 300 gold behind now. And the investment in Listener is starting to pay off in these fights. As long as he stays at the back, he doesn't get engaged on by Nyx Water or safety. ASUS Fate look very good to take away this second game of the series and possibly tie it up against SAJ.
There he goes, and he picks up the blue buff for himself. Kinda would have been better if he gave that over. Oh, geez, in fact, is he gonna wait for Jinky to come?
Yeah, he probably should wait for Jinky. Longer uptime on the ice shards will be reduced by this blue buff. Cooldown reduction, of course, very good on Lissandra. And if you think about it, the more Ring of Frost and Ice Shard you can get out, it's better for Listener to kite around. As long as you buy space for him to move around, fight and kite and deal damage, you should be good because you put so much gold onto this AD carry.
Safety tries to go in for an engagement, but the lantern is there. It is good. And ASUS Fate being very methodical right now, just turning all the set waves at the moment. Trying to listen over here, pick up the additional farm for himself.
Jinky went for boots of sorceress boots and then went for the distortion enchantment. So wants to be able to flash in and lock up their Kog'Maw even more. SAJ.
Oh, they're going to be rushing this inhibitor. They know that Listener is not around. ASUS Fate, they've got to be careful. But by this time, Listener is already in the fog. Saigon Joker's feet. Yeah, I don't know if they want to be playing.
The positioning that Jinky is in now is very scary because you can find a claw on the flank and they catch Safety out.
Oh, are they going to be locking him down? They get the Mikhails onto him, so they're really backing out of that one. In fact, there isn't even the Mikhails. Oh, there is Mikhails on the Nami.
Yeah, they did not use the Mikhail Safety at this point. Still rather tanky. We do see a lot of damage being put onto him, but not really sticking that well. Wolf Spirit will spot out Nyx Water as the smite was used earlier on.
Now ASUS Fate, they're just shoveling down the mid lane. This is a huge wave. Are they going to be going for it? This could... Saigon Jokers, they do recall.
They don't have the timer on Baron just yet. Oh wait, they do have the timer, but it's not going to be spawning just yet. And just want to be warding up the blue side of SAJ's jungle here. ASUS Fate know that they have to contest the next Baron. And as long as they get vision, they can very easily make picks with a hook and a frozen tomb into someone.
I like what ASUS Fate are doing right now, just hiding the opponent's jungle, setting up for an ambush, and then showing only the Caitlyn.
Holy
very good
goodness.
control of the vision over here. Oh, never mind, they set up the turret anyway.
They crit. The Caitlyn is critting for about 1,000 per auto attack now. This is getting...
Oh, this might be a flank. This might be a flank. Safety coming around from the side.
The issue is if he goes in, he has to go into Nyx Water, and it should be Nyx Water.
Nyx Water's running forward. He's just so isolated at the moment. He does dodge out the hook, however.
Nyx Water has to be the one to use the elastic slingshot to get into the fight. Safety uses the flying drag to get across the wall. He has to at least. Gets spotted out by the trap, and ASUS Fate just backing off here so safely. They can't get engaged on by SAJ because they know the bot lane still has a huge wave, and if they do die here, the inhibitor should be going down.
I mean, 38 minutes. If anyone dies, hook on the next water. Is this gonna be the fight? They're looking for Sue. They're looking for Levita.
Sitting off the side is Miyu. He wants to be able to kick Sue in if he could afford it. Inhibitors from both teams is currently up. It will be Slay that goes back to defend, however.
Huge wave pushing down the mid lane. Inhibitor. Let's take an inhibitor. Bottom lane. Baron in 1 minute. Bottom lane inhibitor. Looks like they're still pretty healthy.
Both teams have set up good amounts of vision across Baron Pit and the respective side of enemy jungles, excuse me. Of course, SAJ will be the one to utilize that as compared to ASUS Fate. If they can get a good catch onto Listener, it should be game for SAJ.
I mean, you can catch your opponent's AD carry, you win a team fight at 40 minutes, it's game for anybody.
I think that's because of how both teams, the composition is so prioritized on the AD carry. You could get away with catching, like, say, someone like a Ezreal, who isn't that heavy on damage, but if a composition resources was put onto the AD carry, catching them out, definitely what you want to be doing.
Just jostling for position around this Baron right now. 15 seconds into
Okay, they don't have to.
as well.
They don't have to catch Listener. They just need to be able to chunk him out and force him out of fight. 2 auto attacks from Sue with crit will be able to do that though. SAJ starting this up, and ASUS Fate not really privy to this yet. You will spot this out right now.
Oh, Miyu, is he gonna go for the steal? He has a resonating strike on it. Here comes the teleport. He's gonna go for it. Who's gonna get a smite? He gets the kick on the jungler. Will he be able to smite? No. Safety is still in the Baron Pit. He gets the put out of the ladder off that one. Nyx Water just solo right now. Jinky with the engagement. This is huge. Yushin is slow. Safety is slow. Listener is still in the backlines, completely untouched. Nyx Water is gonna fall. Oh, the Zac still comes in, and the Lulu already has fallen. Still alive, however, so mid laner in the end, but ASUS Fate, they take control of the Baron Pit.
And they do pick up Nyx Water at the end because he went into block form, and this is the Baron right now for ASUS Fate. Listener once again completely untouched in the back. Nyx Water cannot get to it, and just so much crowd control coming from Jinky and Slay to deny the engage onto this Caitlyn.
ASUS Fate, they're definitely making Saigon Jokers work for the next slot in the GPL. They're just putting so much pressure on right now, playing with so much pride, and they're showing that they have what it takes. Finally, they're able to translate all those things. Bring me through this 100.
Yeah, so Safety was stuck in the Baron Pit the whole fight. He couldn't use his Cataclysm at all. He had to secure the Baron right here. If you take a look at the back, Sue has to kite around, but he can't find a priority target to hit. And in the middle of the fight, it was Nyx Water who tried to get as much crowd control as possible. Jinky right here, frozen 2 onto Levita, stalls so much time with the Zhonyas, and at the back, Listener just doing so much damage. Sue exhausted, can't deal as much as this Caitlyn, who is so fat now. The box just only for good measure as they finish off every other person left in the fight.
Oh, that was just fantastically coming from ASUS, and they secured the next dragon for themselves as well. They're going to even accept 3 dragons with 2 dragons. They're going to be the game-ending 5 dragons that we saw previously, but this Baron buff, let's see what ASUS will be able to make out of it.
Levita from a rather high KDA now down to 8, 4, and 9. Not as high on the KDA train as he was before.
Maybe 703, that's practically divide by 1, but now divide by 4, kind of gimped in the numbers game.
Miyu will spot out safety in the jungle. Very dangerous here.
A very cheeky play.
Flash is available. He can flash kick him if he wants to.
He gets to slow down with the resonance, but here comes Lisna as well. It is going to be a flash kick. They do lock the job enough safety. He's going to be falling so quickly. The tidal wave just come in. And oh, they do get safety in the end.
One member down and a major tank of SAJ as well. This should be a great push coming from ASUS Fate if they decide to group up. The top inhibitor is still open and so is the bottom, and they decide to go for the top lane. Listener leading the charge with Miyu slightly in front. Slay looking to shove out the mid lane as well to create some pressure across the map. 2,000 gold now ahead is ASUS Fate.
Let's just note that Kongmo over here has flash. Tommy Chu was the importance of the Summoner Scout.
Yeah, let's take a look at the replay for safety. Just getting caught by this Dragon's Rage into a straight flash, allowing them to pick him up, and a bit of a siege coming through here from ASUS Fate. Without flash, Su is unable to reposition himself, and a Claw of Doom like that onto him will spell death. Mixwater has to run out of this fight, and the second inhibitor will be going over to ASUS Fate.
So they go for the game here. They have 2 inhibitors. Super minions are coming in. Hook comes out. There's going to be turret number 1. It's going to fall. ASUS Fate. You got to play this really carefully. Just play this patiently. Play it slowly. The Kog'Maw doing so much damage on the sidelines. They have the man advantage. It looks like they will be backing on. Yeah, Mixwater will he be finding the fight here? Grabs the lantern out there. ASUS Fate not taking chances.
Yeah, they played a safe game. It is, after all, the 1 point on the line here. If they don't get this 3 points, gonna send SAJ to the top of the table. And I think in these fights, it has been Lisna who has been untouched and sieging so well. SAJ have no good reply to this Caitlyn here.
I mean, I have to say, it's just the way that ASUS Fate, they have been conducting their defense. They just been doing it so well. Because when you play this death wall of the composition, you go in, you pick off the Lulu, you just find them segregated. Safety was isolated, picked down straight away. After that, when you start to pull apart the components, the death wall doesn't work as well.
And normally we don't see a tank in the whole Juggernaut composition because it's mostly about getting that Kog'Maw ahead and allowing him to output damage. But in this case, they've managed to focus the weak point of the composition, which was Mixwater on this Zac, who honestly, first time playing it in the GPL, not very impressive, getting camped out early on, and they replied the Juggernaut composition with their very own let's boost the Caitlyn up composition, and it's working really well.
I mean, the technical execution of how they got Caitlyn there was just fantastic. And I have to feel that sometimes when you go for Juggernaut, it is a little bit too greedy by going for Kog'Maw. Sometimes just opting for Jinx or Caitlyn might be a better idea. And as you see, they're just going to start this slow siege in the bottom lane over here. Just wait for the super minions to push in on the top and mid lane because they have the inhibitors. And if Saigon Jokers, they can't find an engagement until the time.
Now Caitlyn is maxed out in items right now, so not going to be getting anything else besides selling the Zerkers for a Zephyr perhaps.
Oh, Jinky does fall on the sidelines. The Lissandra getting caught out of position, and now
that's a big part of
ASUS Fate. They have to run away. They have to get out of here as fast as possible. You can just see all the cutting skills being dropped over here. Whimsy being dropped on the Mixwater, trying to get the engagement on ASUS Fate. They're turning around. Oh, what are they doing? Are they really going to go for the fight without the Lissandra? Immediately, the trash falls. ASUS Fate, what are you doing? Mixwater gets the knockup. Listener still in a good position, but they're going to be losing multiple members.
Oh, he manages to get out safety, jumps straight onto Slay, and he's going to fall in a matter of seconds. They have to recon now to defend the base. 2 inhibitors down means that super minions will be streaming in. Yushin as well as safety. Still want to go for this Lovita on the side. Su just clearing out the minion waves. And Lovita, look at him, he's behind enemy lines at this point in time.
They're rushing it. They're trying to go for the Nexus and on the other side as well. What do? Do they recall? Looks like ASUS Fate, the calls to recall over here is 2 against 4. They send the Zac to defend the wave. But he has got the teleport.
Yes. Lich Bane available on Lovita will mean that this inhibitor goes down very quickly in the mid lane. No minions though, so they have to face tank this, and
they're going to be tanking it up. Listener from the sidelines. He started to do it out with 2. It's going to be a battle crits over here. Prince line in favor of Listener. Teleport comes in. Safety very low as well. Listener still staying alive. Next Water tries to find the engagement. Oh, this is just so precarious right now. The rest of ASUS Fate, they're going to be spawning up. Maybe dodges it out.
So there's one inhibitor turret down for SAJ, whereas ASUS Fate have two very freshly dead turrets. The tidal wave will be used to disengage, and SAJ gets away scot-free with two inhibitors.
They're just going to chase them down right now. Just going to chase them down. Maokai is going to be respawning. 1 second. Just drop a ward, TP in, and take the inhibitor.
Yeah, tricky situation is if you fight in the base, SAJ has just got a lot of gold in their pocket, and they had
Come on, drop the ward.
They have a good amount of power spikes in their bank now. Finishing up the Mercurial Scimitar is Su, and the flash and heal available now. I don't think ASUS Fate should take the next fight until they can single out a target from SAJ with a hook or even just a Frozen 2.
But here's the thing, the bottom lane inhibitor is down in the favor of Saigon Jokers. And Baron is going to be spawning 40 seconds.
The wave is pushing already. We can see Slay having to deal with that massive amount of super minions coming in.
This game is just insanity.
And that's been the case for all our games today, I believe.
These long grinding games when it comes down to these huge Baron fights. You see slowly everyone just getting maxed out. The Maokai picking up the Guardian Angel as well.
Maokai with the Guardian Angel will be able to dive in a bit more recklessly. Dragon number 4 here for ASUS Fate. This is interesting. Tables have turned for SAJ. They are not the ones to get their 5th Dragon buff win condition anymore. Yes, they're poised to take that last dragon after this one is down.
But Saigon Joker is going to go for it. Are they going to start the Baron? Dragon goes over. This Dragon number 4. Bonus wave to Saigon Joker to start it up. This is really dangerous. They're doing it so quickly right now. Would they be able to get it in time? Here comes the tempo from the Maokai. Saigon Jokers, do they continue? Do they stay? Are they able to get it? In the end, blue team they secure it. But this is a huge fight. Safety is going to get isolated. Listener doing so much damage right now. Next one from the backlist. He goes in onto Listener. The lockdown is good stuff up. The support does fall on both sides. Safety falls as well. Listener is going to be focused out. He's on a run right now. But Su is still alive. Is Jinky able to get him? There we go. Su is going to fall. That's the 80 carried out. Saigon Jokers, they're just falling apart right now.
ASUS Fate have 4 members, 3 members still alive, and they can run right into this. The Guardian's Angel has been popped by Slayer. Without Su around, the Kongmo composition not really going to work out. Next Water and Lavita are going to try to chase them off. They can't let them recall the super minutes on the Nexus, and Lavita finds Slay. They can tunnel in and try to finish this off. Next Water still rather tanky, I believe, and with the mid lane being pushed in, it is Listener who will be the one to defend this.
They do get a Nexus turret of all that, and these do have the Baron buff. It's a 3 for 2 in the end in the favor of Saigon Jokers. But my goodness, in the end, Dragon goes to ASUS Fate. That puts them on 4 dragons up to their opponent's 5. And inhibitors respawn for Saigon Jokers.
Had Su not been so out of position that last fight, it would have been a simple whitewash for SAJ. He overexposed himself to Jinky, who just shot him down immediately with the Ring of Frost and Ice Shard and the Glacial Path.
You know, at this point, Hungry, I kind of want to say, let's go for a break for 6 minutes. We come back when the next Dragon appears, when the next Baron appears, and then we'll be there to cast it, because that's what's going to happen. Both of these teams, they're just playing so passive right now. They just play so scared 15 minutes into the game. They just need to for these major objectives to be able to contest anything.
Both teams just being maxed out at 80,000 gold. That's when you start to give your farm over to the support, because everyone has their core set of items completed and can't afford anything else. Now with no wards at all across both teams, this is when you start upgrading the yellow trinket to provide your team some vision.
Get to upgrade on the blue trinket as well. Come on, Listener, you've been maxed out for so long.
So putting up a valiant defense against SAJ, who are grouping up in the mid lane. Safety and Ecuador leading the charge as the tanks they are.
Going for this?
Now what they do is they group up with the Kog'Maw, who can siege so well, and start pressuring the Nexus, because there's only one Nexus turret alive.
Water might be going in right now. He drops him slow down to the opponent's turret. The Whimsy is giving him so much utility, but once again, the only true damage source on the side of Saigon Jokers is going to be Steve. Do they find a hook? Oh, he gets on the next one. He gets locked down for now. Safety tries to find Listener on the sidelines, but the Kaelin just having such fancy feet is making sure he doesn't get caught out, and the Trash Lantern there for insurance as well. Saigon Jokers, all the super minions just flooding to the base right now. The inhibitor does respawn, and Saigon Jokers, they're really looking to pick this one up. Easy inhibitor for themselves. ASUS Fate, they just think so carefully. The Baron buff, they're gonna respect it. Here comes the tidal wave. The engagement doesn't really come through just yet. Next Water is a whole bunch of damage. Akiho, he needs to find the hook. He needs to find a clear hook onto the 3 crucial targets of Saigon
Yeah,
Jokers.
ASUS can't sit here and do nothing. The inhibitors are getting spawned and they are getting taken down. The bear buff has worn off, but super minions are streaming into the base now. ASUS has to start the defense. SAJ are going in.
They're going on to Mio. Is this going to be the mistake? Slay straight away goes on to Sue. Get it back off the zone to Maokai. And now safety is going to be the focus. He drops the Cataclysm. Is he going to fall as well? Nick's Water gets locked up. Listener still doing so much damage. That is going to be Jinky falling. Sue still alive into backlines. How much more will they be able to do? Safety still alive. They get Sue! Sue falls! That's the AD carry! No more Kog'Maw for Saigon Jokers!
No more Kog'Maw indeed, and that's 2 very important members of SAJ down. One being safety and the other one very close to Dev Nick's Water, and without Sue around, ASUS can just shove down. They don't have any Nexus turrets left to defend, or they have one Nexus turret left to defend, but they can take the inhibitors. The respawn timer on this Kog'Maw is 60 seconds. In a Kog'Maw composition, that's very important.
Now that's a huge wave up top. This is a decent wave in the mid lane as well. Looks like ASUS, they will be trying to pick up this mid lane turret. Teleport not available for Maokai, but it is going to be available for the Zac over here. They might have the man advantage, but without the AD carry, couldn't even do anything at all.
This is so huge now with the Elixir of Iron as well. Deciding to go in with the elastic slingshot. Tries to find Listener, does not get him. Dragon up in a minute and 30. This is where ASUS decides to back off and then contest the next dragon, of course. SAJ can't really
They've
help.
drawn them out away from the base, and look at the huge minion wave at the top lane. It's just pushing towards the inhibitor turret.
This game is utter chaos, J-Storm. Top wave being pushed in. If no one comes to deal with
Kog'Maw's
this,
going to respawn in time. Kog'Maw's going to respawn in time.
if no one deals with this, it's going to take down the inhibitor, but it will be Levita who shows up to clear lens away the whole wave, and that's a good feeling watching all those minions die to one skill shot. Sue has sold away his boots and picked up the Zephyr. Listener, on the other hand, still sitting on a lot of gold. I wonder if our observer can show us how much he has in his pocket. 3,000 gold, deciding still not to upgrade the blue trinket. Questionable at best.
Dragon spawning 30 seconds. Oh my god, hungry. This is so intense.
Miyu and Akiho are in position, but what they don't know is that they're getting flanked by Sue. There is a ward in the brush where Akiho was standing in, and the teleport available from Nick's Water, he can very well just set the top push and then teleport into the fight in the backlines. If they jump onto the Listener, it should be game for SAJ here. Sue cannot get caught out by a hook or an exhaust or a frozen tomb. If not, it's game over.
They summon the spells. Flash still available for Kate and Flash available for Kog'Maw as well. Here comes the timer from Zac immediately. He's going to get hooked up, so no home dash shenanigans at all for himself. But there we go. They're going to be going in for stage, chunking out the percentage damage. Oh, it's going to drag. It's going to collateral as well. They are on top of the speed shot, which just expires, so ASUS Fate once again just back on neutral. Safety is isolated in the side of pit, however. Hook comes in. That looks on Nick's Water. There's some free damage onto him once again. ASUS Fate, are they going to get a dragon? Dragon number 5! They get dragon number 5! They're turning. They're going to go for the fight right now. Is this going to be a Sue? Barely misses out on the engagement. Listener coming from the sidelines as well. Here comes Jinky. Is he going to be going for the engagement? Oh, but the Nexus! The Nexus! The minutes! They're on the Nexus right now. All the recalls coming in. Jinky! Oh,
You have to recall Jinky. Lovita's running for the Nexus.
The Lich Bane. Is he able to get it? Lovita! Oh!
SAJ has designed the recall. Lovita finishes the game.
The Nexus! The Nexus! Saigon Jokers! They get the Nexus! ASUS Fate!
Just short of the game, ASUS Fate. They get the 5th dragon, but they can't finish it off. The super minions are too strong, and that's what I was talking about. Getting the inhibitor is what wins you the games. Not winning these fights, not getting the dragon, but when you get the waves pushing in your favor. Now, SAJ, they turned it around. The play from Sue, questionable at best, getting caught up multiple times by hooks and frozen tombs, but when it counts, Novita coming through for his team.
Saigon Jokers throwing them out on the Baron pit and the Dragon pit, and then just going in so clutch, picking up the Nexus. I mean, I thought that the Dragon bluff would have been the game itself. Jinky failed to put a trigger. He could have gone in, flash, Ring of Frost on 3 people, but he hesitated, and because of that, ASUS Fate dropped the ball.
Yeah, if they had killed Lovita there, the Nexus wouldn't have gone down so quickly, and the recalls were denied as well at that point, so no one was able to back and defend the base from the incoming minion waves, and I think that was the story of the game, just time and time again, ASUS Fate falling slightly short, slightly too far from victory.
I mean, ASUS Fate, we saw fantastic early games from them. They cleaned up the mid game, but now all they need to know how to do is kill the Nexus.
Yeah, they should probably change the name to Nexus. Yeah.
And with that, we'll bring you tomorrow's games. We'll be having the postponed match of Bangkok Titans against Hanoi Fulus. Let's hope that there are no internet connection issues this time. It will be played at 5 p.m.
Yeah, it will be played at 5 p.m. SGMY time, I believe, but we will update you on any changes to that. So do stick around tomorrow and watch out for that. I want to say competitive match because it's going to decide if Hanoi Fulus is still in the running for a playoff spot. So do come and join us, guys. But for now, it will be the end of our broadcast today on behalf of production crew, the casters, and our OBs, and all the